I want you to talk to them about something that was amazing. It was amazing, right? Just say it for me. Say it one time. Say it was amazing.
It was amazing. The mastermind was amazing.
And you saw the title of the video is Know How to Spot Your Clients. And this right here, boy, what's the biggest struggle in the online arena for most of us, but not even only online, it's offline too. The biggest struggle that a lot of us deal with when we're building our business is like, where are our clients at? You know, where do we find them? How do we get them? And so we talked about some of everything. Hey, Keisha, we talked about where your clients are and how to connect with them, how to sell to them. We did all of this stuff in the mastermind group for those of you all that heard about the package price and profit. But I want her to share with you all some transitions that Anitra personally went through from being in the group. And so when I met you, I was in love with you at first sight because you had this amazing personality. If looking at you, I wouldn't even known that you needed a coach. And that's like just being real because you are a very powerful and a very confident woman, but you were dealing with something. So I kind of skimmed over it. What were you dealing with in your business that you weren't satisfied with?
My confidence level and being able to attract clients because I wasn't out there, so they can't come to me if they don't know that I'm there.
Right. Yeah. Now, and that big that's really noble of you to say confidence. We got Camille and Shanisa on here. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. A lot of women don't want to say that confidence thing is something that bothers them. What kind of confidence struggles were you dealing with your business?
Basically really getting online and saying, okay, this is me, this is what I do, this is how I am, and just being able to be boss with it. Because at first I was like, okay, this is me, this is how I am, and I like people, but I didn't have that stand in my purpose and be in position to say, this is me, this is how I am, let's get it.
I like that. And you mostly were offline, but you wanted to branch into online. But nevertheless, but this was still something that was not just an online or an offline issue. It was an issue that crossed both of those arenas. And
absolutely.
Okay. And so we haven't really gotten into the thick of things, but even with that, a lot of times people only teach you stuff for online or they only teach you stuff for offline. What was the game changer?
The game changer. Okay. So offline, I could see people and talk a little bit, but I wasn't as confident and as bold and standoutish. So I kind of sat back and kind of did more observing than actually talking. So online, you have to be able to speak the language. So I had previous coaching, which was great, but I didn't know how to get online and present myself so that I had the language that would capture the clients that I was looking for.
So both things changed a little bit. And you're an extrovert, so you're not even designed to just observe. But the reality is, if we're talking about business, then yes, sometimes we may be a little bit more reserved than we naturally are if we kind of like, and exactly what should I say and what should I do? And so once again, thank you. Shanisha says she totally understands that. So thank you for expressing that, because that level of vulnerability that you just gave, you also gave permission to another woman to say, you're not crazy. Because at some point we all go through this. I even went through it. Yes, with my little bold self. Yeah, I just sit, but all jokes aside, even I had to deal with that struggle initially getting into the online arena and offline arena with being able to say, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is the language that I should be speaking. And I think that is, I know, but I'm just saying, I think that that's really important that you brought up the fact that the language, and so many people know what they do. They know who they want to serve, but they don't necessarily know the language to attract the right clients. And you had a shift in your clientele while you were in the group. Hey, Miss McKenzie, what was the shift with your clientele once you started speaking the right language?
Okay, so the shift, let me go back a little bit and talk a little bit about me. So For me, coming from a military background, that level of confidence is different than being a business owner level of confidence.
Right.
Because I went through a period of 27 years of training, knew what I was doing, everything was already there. So it was like snap, snap, snap. Being a business owner gave me a different outlook on things and how I would have to present myself. So my very first set of clients were the clients that you get because you're excited and you're like, okay, somebody's looking at me. I got me some clients. And you get on there and you be like, and you don't really vet them. So I didn't really talk to them to find out if they were my ideal client, because they were just, for me, I was like, it's a client, so I'm getting some work and I'm excited. But then as it progressed, I realized that we didn't necessarily mesh completely. Not that it was a bad experience, but it was definitely a learning experience. And so as I got through that error, and I went to a networking event and I met some more ladies, and I was able to give them some vetting ahead of time, like, hey, so what things do you need done like right away? What can you think about that you need in the next 90 days? Things like that. So pre-vetting them allowed me to have that shift in clientele to get a much bigger client. And even with that, I had to learn to shift my thinking, because my initial thinking when I was talking to that client was based on an entry-level client, but the incoming client would be more like an executive level. So they were already at a farther shift in their business, and I needed to shift my mindset, my language, and what I was going to offer them as opposed to an entry level.
Absolutely. And I hope all of you guys are listening and you're catching everything that she put out there, because a lot of you do have businesses. And what I want you to challenge yourself to think about right now is, how do you feel about your current clientele? You don't necessarily have to hate them. Thank you for the love. I see it coming through. But doesn't it feel good for those of you that are watching, if you have at least one client that you love, doesn't it feel good to work with someone, you get them, they get you, your spirits mesh, and there's no boundaries crossed, there's no extra favors asked for, there's no issue with payments, or, just whatever it is that matters to you. Their attitudes aren't up and down. It feels good to work your business and to know, to like, and to love your clients, and you all deserve that. But there are mindset shifts that have to change in you as well, and you have to change your presentation, and your conversation should be as such that it attracts those things. So once again, thank you, for speaking to that. You got this radical transformation. You say that would be great, all of that, LOL. But it's possible. It wouldn't just be great. It is great, Shanisha.
It is. It can happen.
Now, you got a radical transformation in a 12-week period that a lot of people would not have believed was possible. And so I want you to talk about your experience being in the Package Price and Profit program. What were like 3 of the things that you really, really loved about being in that program?
What I really, really loved, first of all, is you have other women in the program that are part of your support system. And so they're all at some point maybe dealing with the same things you're dealing with, or have dealt with the same things you've dealt with. And so you're able to talk to them in a group and support each other. The other thing that was really great was, outside of just the training that August gives you, she's also giving you these extra nuggets. And a scenario or a situation may come on or happen, and she'll come in and she'll talk about it. It may not be your situation. It may be someone else's in the group situation. So you get all of that. So there's like so much love and just camaraderie that you get in the program. And then additionally, let me see, my third thing was, help me, August, help me.
Well, I mean, you gave me your list before we got on here. You said the sisterhood, the nuggets, and the availability. Those were your...
Yes, exactly. And the availability. So sometimes you have to call August in the background and be like, okay, so let me tell you what happened as you're walking through, because you go through a transformation and life still happens during that transformation. Right. And sometimes you may fall off, and then you feel bad and you're like, okay, I'm going to try to get back on the wheel and But I have had times where I have called August and been like, I'm walking through Walmart talking about August. Let me tell you what happened. See, what happened was, and so because you had that moment where things have happened. I had a lot of family, personal things happen during my 12 weeks and I fell off, but I needed to get back on. But I wanted to take that time and talk to August and say, August, this is what happened and this is where I'm at. And she was open and receptive. And it's funny because you could be talking to her like girlfriend mode and she'd be like, okay, so let me just tell you from a coach point of view. And she'll bust out and say, so you should have did this and think about this. And you're like, oh, we in Walmart. You like whisper like, I can't talk that loud. Why you got me laughing while I'm in Walmart?
No, and I love you. And I thank you for being so vulnerable with me about that. But and I think that's people can't fathom the fact that a coach would be available like that. But my thing is if you're going to pay like that, I believe that people should get the attention that they pay for. And that's what it all boiled down to. And so there were times when you women in the group where you needed a certain level of push. We had people with issues with death in their family, with their kids, people getting sick. So many things came up, and that's the thing, right? Life and trials, they aren't going to say, oh my God, look at this rock star business owner, this badass woman who decided to invest in herself. Let me just pump the brakes and get out of the way so she can be the best that she can be. It doesn't happen like that. And so you guys still need that support. And even if I got to hunt you down and be like, baby, you know, where you been? You know, you're not in here and you can't fall off. As a coach, understanding that ebb and flow and the ups and downs, I know that it was important for me to see about you. And if you were willing to reach out to me and be vulnerable, hey, Patricia, and hey, Terry, if you're willing to say those things to me, then it was important for me to feel like they give you that security of actually being there. And so once again, I still want to just thank you for even honoring me to be a part of that transition, because your stuff did get very personal. It did change. Now, you already talked about this, the change with the networking experience. So we're going to kind of bypass that. But you mentioned that you needed to grow in your confidence. What happened to you and what metamorphosed as it pertains to your confidence and your money while you were going through all of the different trainings that we were doing?
Okay, so again, back up a little bit. In my military career, I did not go to where the level I wanted to go to. So as I got out and I got into this arena, and my confidence was shaken a little bit because I'm at a top tier level. And now you're starting back at the bottom when you start your own business. So for me, once again, like in the networking, the first time I went to a networking event, I was just me, and it was like really quiet, and I didn't really talk to people. I wasn't trying to get to know people. And then I shifted. By the time I got to my third event, I was like, okay, I need to meet 10 people. I was just like, hey, I'm Anitra, how you doing? You know, I was just this bold person. And then also my pricing points changed as I grew, because I started out with, okay, so this is what I think I should get, without really doing any calculation of my time. Oh, it's going to take me 4 hours to do this. My calculation and my timing as far as my pricing points start out at like, okay, so I will give you one task for $15. Okay, I was never going to get rich like that. No. Never. 100 clients later, I might have had $1,500, but that's a lot of clients in 1 month. So I wasn't going anywhere. So I had to really think about my pricing points, go through the phases of, okay, this is how much I'm going to spend on this. This is how much I'm going to spend. And looking at everything that I was spending and what it would cost me to actually take care of my client, to a position that I'm loving what I do, they're loving what they get, and everybody's happy. It's a win-win situation. Yeah. So that was an evolving from going from $15 a task to an entry level of $900. So that's a big jump. Yeah. You talk about price point. But that's what I learned in the training. is about being able to say, this is my price point, being firm with it, not wavering, and getting out my contract and be like, okay, this is what I offer, and this is what the expense is.
Absolutely.
And being okay with that.
Yeah, so. and it's so funny to me because I've never met a woman, I don't care how big and how bold she is, that hasn't had to be challenged on her prices. I absolutely haven't. And we've been, whether it's because we've been told the way that you infiltrate the system is to, undercharge the lowest bidder just to get in. And, but if you start like that, a lot of times you get stuck like that. And there are no rules. There are no rules that say that you have to do that. And I love every once in a while when I get a new, fresh piece of meat that ain't even got in there. And I'm like, you ain't even starting at that price. I don't have to retrain your brain. I'm coming out the gate. You starting at this price. And they like, and then they realize that they can, but it's a beautiful thing. It's a very, very beautiful thing. And so, yeah, you metamorphose and you like, look, and this is just like you said, this is entry level. And after we work, if you extend this 90 days, and that wasn't 90 days for $900, y'all. Okay, let's not get that twisted. She did very entry level work for some people, and it was at $900 a month. And people didn't bark at that. But I do know. And she didn't work that many hours a day for these people. I know people, for those of you all that don't know, because we didn't do like introductions, she is a virtual boss manager, not a virtual assistant. And so a lot of virtual assistants, when they come out the gate, they're like, I'll do this for you for $200, this for $400, this is $20 an hour, this is $15 an hour. I only do this, for these many tasks. And with her, people had to realize, oh, this is entry level. We're going to get to know each other. I'm going to do a few things for you. This is the price point. We're going to have a time frame. Then we're going to come back and we're going to solidify the actual contract, because now I really, really know the holes, and so on and so forth. And even that's a different muscle to be able to say, now that this is done, well, this is all they've been paying me, so maybe that's all I should ask for, as opposed to saying, no, do you understand the value that I bring to the table? And so, once again, thank you for sharing all of that. So for people that are watching that have been trying to figure this thing out, why in the world would they shell out anything that's in 4 figures to August Crenshaw at all? You started with me from the bottom. You started with me from the free to a support group to an actual training, and you've graduated to now going on to one-to-one. Talk about what that looked like for you. What was going on with you that you was like, okay, I'm going to spend a little more, as opposed to saying, whew, she wiped out my budget. I'm good now. Thank you, Lord. That was a waste of damn time. You didn't do that. Talk to them about your elevation, your graduation through our relationship with each other.
Okay, so the first week of the free challenge, right? So I'm getting in there, and I haven't really been, I was never a Facebook person. So like, this has evolved for me very big, because getting into Facebook, like, I even changed my picture since I've been with you. Because I got a 1971 picture of me and my cousin from my personal Facebook page. I didn't have anything on my business page. So if you could have seen it, you'd be like, whatever. So then we get in the week challenge. And once again, not Facebook. So one of the challenges, I put on a filter. And I'm like, oh my God, because I didn't realize I look like the Blues Brothers. I was like, what is this? I'm supposed to be on here talking about this subject for that day. And I was like, I was just like out there like, what in the world is going on? My cousin taps in. She says, those are filters. What? So if you would have been that challenge, you'd have been laughing, because I was like, that was just too funny for me. But after that, I knew that my point of getting my clients was going to be online as well as offline. So I was like, okay, I need more help. So now I go into the next portion of a 30-day. Okay, so I'm gonna get some 30-day, get some learning, but it wasn't enough for me. So I knew that. And so then I was like, okay, now I'm in the 12-week, and we're really doing some stuff. August is really taking me through the paces to make sure that I'm continuing to build on what she had already given me in the 30-day and what I had learned in the first week of just free challenge. So now we're at the 12 weeks, and we're getting close to the end of the 12 weeks. And I'm like, I still need more. Because even though I have built up my confidence level, and even though I'm good on my price point, and I've been working on how to structure things within my business as far as my finances and things, as well as getting those posts out there, I am not exactly where I feel I want to be. So I got to hang on to August. I can't just be letting her go be like, no, I need you. So when I have that post that looks crazy to me, I got another group of women that can help me with those posts that I can reach out to, and I can call August and be like, okay, so we are now in Subway instead of Walmart. And let me tell you what happened. Or, for example, recently I called August and I was like, okay, so I got this client and this is what I think I want to do. Let me talk through it. Well, guess what? I had already did what I was going to do before talking to August. And she was like, Anisha. So what you should have did was, and I was like, I know, right? Like I should have called you first. But I was so excited about the client, and the conversation I had was short, and I was like, yeah, like a crazy person. That I was like, okay, step back, go back to the coach, because that's why you have them. And now you have them one-on-one, like they're sitting next to you, like, hey, August, girl, let me just tell you. So that's why from the free all the way to the one-on-one, I see the value in having the coach to walk me through. It is, for me, it is no different than the levels and the challenges I had in the military to go from an E1, well, really an E3, to making E8. There is always a mentor, a commander, or somebody walking me through and helping me get there and making sure that I was on the right path. And so that's how I see you. And the best part is when you have August as your coach and you feel the love and the trust, because when you trust a person, you're more open and you can really be more transparent. And that's what you bring to me. So it allows me to give it back to you.
Thank you.
And so I thank you.
Well, I want to thank you for taking out the time just to talk about your experience and to let other people know that it's not just me saying it, that I really do care about my clients, and that level of transparency, me sharing my stories, my obstacles, and even just walking you guys through what I was doing in my business so that you could glean even at that moment. It's like, hey, this is something I'm doing right now. This is what it looks like. These are some of the issues with it. This is the great part about it. Put this in your back pocket because you're going to need this too. Just anything and everything I can to excel you guys forward. That is my position as a coach. Where are you guys at? You know, where that are watching, where are you at and what are you experiencing in your business, and what do you want to experience? If you are in a position where you can invest, if you need a radical transformation in 12 weeks, if you want to be like Anitra and some of the other women that were in the group that made radical transformation in a short period of time, because time is of the essence, then PM me so that we can talk about what that looks like. I'll be very honest, that is a high ticket investment for you to do the package price and profit program. But if you're not there, I do have different levels of service. I can meet you where you are. It doesn't make a difference. You're hearing from her mouth whether it is free base, whether it is a lower ticket entry level base, a higher ticket entry level base, a one-to-one ticket entry level base. At the end of the day, I got you. My physical presence is in everything that I do because that's the game changer. I don't want you to be subjected to just a bunch of recordings because your thinking has you where you are. I want to help you explore where is that next place. So I've been throwing out lifelines to you guys in various forms. You can comment on here. Please PM me. My phone number, all that stuff is on social media. You can even call me. I just won't answer if I'm busy. But seriously, you guys, time is of the essence. The time is always now. Let's slide out of 2018, slaying the hell out of our goals. Let's slide out of 2018, slaying the hell out of our goals. So thank you for everybody that watched. Let me see if I can remember. It was Shanisha, Camille, Mackenzie, Terry, Patricia, Tamar, Cassandra, Pinana, Veronica, and Aries. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to go ahead and get off, and hopefully you all will be sending up the testimonial in just a few days so you can understand and know what is possible. We outie.
Bye.
Thank you, darling.
Love ya.